I'm Francesca Alexander, ex-Los Angeles makeup artist turned online marketer who now lives in Auckland, New Zealand. I teach small business owners profitable, actionable steps to build highly engaged social media results. We build SEO and social media systems with ease. It's truly a collaboration. Welcome to the Hustle and Glow podcast. Hey everybody, so in this episode, we're going to be talking about the cult of personality. So every social media platform out there, are they useful? Are they not useful? We're going to be talking a little bit more about that. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to say I'm going to be catty in this episode, but I definitely am not going to hide my feelings about some of these platforms. So with that said, let's get into it a little bit. So, there's so many platforms out there. And if you're really super busy, like a lot of people are in business, how do you differentiate which social media platform you should actually be on? So, the reason why I'm such an advocate and I really like social media as a medium to really produce and show who you are, your product, your business, your service, is because 65% of the general population are visual learners. That means that they're very attracted to things that they're already scrolling on. So let's just take a moment and understand that people are on social media, depending if you have your own personal feelings about it. It is what it is. And some people I'll just talk about myself for a minute. I will use social media when I wake up. So, it seems to be a lot of people that do the same thing, is that they look on social media when they wake up. Some people will take the opportunity to drop off their children or pick up their children and be on social media. So there's different types of prime times within your region, depending on who you're trying to actually attract to see your social media and depending on what you would like to achieve. So when I worked at 20th Century Fox and Universal Pictures, when we did their social media was depending on the film. If it was a family film, we would definitely hit 3:00. We would notice that young couples would start looking at what they wanted to do or bounce into a movie theater to buy tickets at 6, 7, and 8 at night. That's the younger generations. I'm in bed by that time. But with that said, there are different audiences require different times. Now, recently, Instagram came back to a chronological order post. So meaning if you posted something at a certain time, the likelihood of somebody that follows you will see it at that time. That wasn't the case before. So they're going back to that. So that's good news. We want to be able to know this information so we can position our social media stuff with a bit more strategy, a little bit more thought into it. So those cults of personality is what I call it, is all the social media platforms. And we're going to dive into those cults. I mean, social media platforms. And we're going to talk a little bit more about them and see which one actually fits for you. Because there are still businesses that are like, oh, we just want to do one. We just want to do the one. Let's talk about those. So LinkedIn is that network that I usually recommend for everybody. But before we do that, one of the best ways we really reach out to people is if we post one and we schedule them across all platforms so that you don't have to go, oh, well, it's so hard just to do one. There are great, very inexpensive platforms like later.com. And later.com, we're not giving you an affiliate link. You could just look it up. It's something that we use across our clients, and our clients use it as well. And it's a great way to schedule ahead. We always recommend that you schedule ahead content about 2 weeks out, so that if some real life situation were to happen or you got busy in your business, you're good for 2 weeks, and then you can always bounce back in and do some more. So that's one of the tools that we use is later.com. And you can tick off or click off all the platforms that you want that one post to go to. So if you clicked off LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, even TikTok, you can do Twitter as well. It'll go out there, and it's something that we use, and it's just so amazing, and we can't recommend it enough. It's something that you should definitely look into. Let's also talk about LinkedIn for a minute. So LinkedIn, you know, everybody's on it, and we love it so much because it really is a place where um, the behavior has changed after COVID. So people are actually posting more personal stories on LinkedIn like they used to do on Facebook. I think that there's a huge departure from Facebook for commonly known reasons, and they have been everywhere and not really supportive of a community. So LinkedIn is that place where it's pretty transparent, and it's a great way to build a network and build relationships. And so it's a relationship building type platform, which is really good for small businesses because we can really just reiterate and republish why we do what we do. So when you hear that phrase in marketing terms or marketing jargon, the why, if people say like, do you know your why? What it really means is, are people understanding what you do and why you do it? Or even better, do people know what you want to be known for? So if there's something that you want to be known for and you keep on talking about that piece on social media, that's great. LinkedIn in particular is a really good place to do that. And what happens, what actually transcends out of that is that you also get a thought leadership piece within your industry, within the subject that you're really speaking about. So that is something that I recommend for all businesses, is to be on LinkedIn. Now Facebook, I think Facebook is not relevant. It is attached to a lot of our business Instagram accounts. So that's why we just sort of keep it in the fray. We do post on Facebook as an automation, as an automatic mechanism when we are posting, and we're doing that one post and we're putting it out everywhere. Facebook gets that. We never really see a lot of comments or mostly the messenger messages are not from the Facebook page, but rather if they find your website. So they have defeated themselves really. Since May 2018, they have made it instrumental to dismantle business pages and not being seen as it used to be. You used to have to take off all of these things on what you wanted to see for the business page, and now it's even worse. So what they've done is they set up a mechanic where if you pay for an ad, then you will be across audiences. So for me, it's just a waste of money. There's not a lot of residual. They call what's in order to show you how your ad placement was successful is that they really concentrate on um, views, and it could be very peripheral. So say if you're looking at the website and you see a little like ad on the side, they're counting that as a view, but it doesn't mean anything. So we're really wanting to engage and do social media work that is meaningful, that people actually respond to and they're engaged with. So that is one thing that we really concentrate on. Now, with that metaverse conversation, there is Instagram, and Instagram is very instrumental for your business. In particular, if you are a product or a service that is very visual, like an interior design firm, you definitely want to be on Instagram so that people who are interested in you, I was going to show you my phone, but I don't know where it's at. I heard it a second ago. What you can do with the phone is that you can pull up and look at the portfolio. The lookbook is actually on your Instagram page, so it's very instrumental that you be there so you can show people. Also, too, other people will, and I just remember looking at the room in 2014 when I was in a board meeting, and we were talking about as a company that maybe we might do business with, and half of the room that was quite young they were looking and scrolling on Instagram, while the others were on desktop looking at their website. Now, as we go into it and as we go into just business space and each year that ticks by, more and more people are using mobile devices to find you. Therefore, Instagram is still so prevalent and so relevant, and you got to be on there. Also, what the really amazing feature is on Instagram is that you can be findable and be searchable, because Instagram is very much also a another car passing by. Sorry if you're listening to it. I live by like what's equivalent to like the Pacific Coast Highway in Auckland, New Zealand. So you're going to hear a lot of cars go back and forth. But anyway, um, the mechanism that's really exciting for us on Instagram is that they have a search tool that is acting like a kind of like Google, where you're just typing in some things and then people are looking to find the answers on it, which is really amazing. So it's really, really important to use that so that you can index on Google, meaning that you're findable on Google if people are typing in the right keyword. So that's really important. I can't drive that home more than I could possibly do it. It's so important. So Instagram is great. Pinterest kind of acts like LinkedIn, where you can put that long link to a website product page or a blog, and it'll direct you back. And it also helps your website grade in terms of searchability. So your grade rating for your website will do well if you put things in Pinterest. So that's, we always say that's the place to do it, definitely. Twitter. Twitter has not put themselves in the social media realm anymore. However, it's still being used as a social media platform, but they're classifying themselves as a news network. So they're really concentrating on news, not so much social media. However, there are still people in the fray that are using it. Like all of the housewives are still using it. Celebrities use it as a social network. So there's still a give and push there. It is a great place for like PR, any sort of press announcement. Connecting with press is a great place to be on Twitter. So depending on what your company is doing, that may or may not be the space or place that you should be on. Also, TikTok is definitely the place to be. And I just think about it. Think about how it really is outperforming organically versus paid ads on Facebook. It's outperforming organically those paid advertisements. So with that said, if your company needs to be everywhere, it needs to be ubiquitous, then that is the place where you need to be, and keep showing up and talking about the features and benefits of your products or service, and just keep talking about it, almost as if it was a LinkedIn perspective, demonstrating the product, showing off what the features are, the benefits, the client wins, how did their life change when they found out about your product or service, stuff like that. So it's definitely worthwhile to be on TikTok and taking it very simple, just doing very easy videos. And try not to be on TikTok is a different, that different personality where you have to come as you are. Very Nirvana of them, but you have to come as you are and not be so massively sharply produced. If you look like a videographer has produced something for you, it looks like a branding video, TikTok is going to reject that as an audience. So you have to make sure that you are within that culture. So let's talk a little bit about the subcultures of each social media platform too. So Instagram is now this is for the highly produced person that really wants perfection. Or we've also seen some really good results with people just speaking as in a video, and just talking about whatever it is of topic. And what I like in terms of like a very business perspective is Mary Portis and her Instagram account. She's probably in her 60s. She is perfectly not perfect, which I like about her. And you will see her, and maybe not even the most perfected poses on her feed, but her messaging is on point. And so she really wants to break through the wall and talk to you almost as if it is a reality based conversation, not reality TV, reality based, meaning that there's no fourth wall. There's just you and her talking, and it's amazing. And I love that about her. And I love about her creation and her curation of her Instagram account. So I love that model. I think it's great. I'm actually going to put it in my show notes too, so you can see it. And we're also conversely going to be talking about her in one of the future podcasts. So stay tuned for her. But she's amazing, and I love that. So that content curation piece on Instagram is great. Pinterest is just beautiful pictures. Videos are starting to be quite successful on that too. So when I talk about doing the one and done model, meaning that you do one video, if it is a TikTok type video, those are going to play well on all platforms, including LinkedIn, which I do all the time. So it is a way, again, because of the TikTok culture, there is that, take the fourth wall down, talk one-on-one, and we're having a conversation rather than it being perfected and stylized. So perfection and stylized on social media doesn't really have a place. However, Instagram, that's part of their culture, and you can do that. I just don't. This is the rub. If it looks adversarial and it looks like an ad, people are going to go. They're going to scroll up and they're not even going to look at it. So that's the rub, right? So that's something that we want to avoid. We want to be able to be more real than produced. So that's the thing. Let's see, and let me look at. I'm looking at a blog that I wrote about this too, to make sure that I don't miss anything. So the benefits of content creation, and it really is about brand building. And brand building on social media means repetition. It means doing it consistently. When you can be cost effective, is when you are creating well in advance, so that if you have to turn around a couple of things, you're like, oh, I haven't done any social media this week, I better hurry up and belt it out. That actually takes more time than planned time. So planned time is when you do it for 2 weeks out, and you're going during the day, and you already know your topics, you know what you're talking about, you're going to be doing content based on that, which is well planned out in advance, versus, oh, I got to think of something now. So the commonality for that, for people that are not in a regular rotation of creation for videos, is that, concept can take 30 to 45 minutes. Producing that product can be 30 to 45 minutes. And then editing, give or take editing time, 15, 20, 25, 30, it doesn't matter. It's still time. Now you have to schedule it, or if you're going to post it right away. And I always lean against not posting it right away, so that you can have time to edit. You have time to read the content and make sure there's no grammatical errors, especially if you're doing it if you're doing social media management for a company. You absolutely want to do that, because one of the heartaches that any social media manager can tell you is if they posted something and it's grammatically incorrect, and then you hear about it on Monday's meeting. It is not good. So take the time to create it. If you are a social media manager, I always lean in and say, if you haven't had it done, talk to your supervisor, whoever it is that is helping create the work that you do, or the workflow, and let them know that, is this a priority this week? I've done these such and such projects, and I need time and space to create our content. And a lot of people think it's automatic, but anything that is truly creative and good creative, like, anybody can just put a post out, but good creation, engaging creation takes time. So we need to give and allow that time to create that. So that's something that you should definitely look at. One of the other benefits of just content creation in general is unlocking those networking opportunities. The more that you talk about what you do, or the features of the product, or even service, is an opportunity to engage in those that open building relationship part, gathering a network, getting people that are like-minded around your product. There is nothing better than having an audience that's rooting for you. There is nothing better. So you want to be able to take the time to do that consistently so you can have it. Show your selflessness. I think I wrote that down too. Curation demonstrates to your audience that you're not just interested in talking about yourself. So talk a little bit more about, you know, what it means to be in your community, how you're contributing to that community. Thought leadership pieces are also great, but it really takes away from what you're trying to pitch or sell and really just bring it back to the community. We also have like a little list of common misconceptions about social media. And, you know, I do put down again, like Facebook is rarely relevant, and that's their own fault. So they've set it up that way. So I would just say make it an automation, but not a focus. Definitely. I love that TikTok strives to put out your content organically. And that's something that you got to consider. You also don't have to do a dance video on TikTok. You don't have to do that. There are a lot of successful accounts out there that don't even do that. So think about it. And also a lot more business relevant or business type companies are on TikTok, and they're doing a kind of a almost like it's their TED talk, right? So they're talking about it sort of like what I'm doing now, and they're doing these mini bites and topics that they're talking about. So think about that. It is like the new Wild West, where you can, if you create it and it's new, that's amazing, and that will do very well on TikTok. Your Instagram, I wrote here, feed doesn't have to be pretty to achieve business or sales goals. Yes. Now, I've seen some really successful ones out there where they're just loaded all of these videos and they're not picture perfect, but the views are incredible. So obviously there's a resonance between the audience and the creator. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be perfect. However, I would say if this is great for somebody who it might be like a plumber. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just tells a story and it talks about the conditions they work in and how they really help clients. Perfect. But again, if you're an interior design company, then I would say err to caution of just, you know, making it as beautiful as possible, because that's why your clients are seeking you out. They want to transform their space, and your Instagram should reflect that change if you can. Yeah. And then this is the other thing, getting a dedicated person within your organization, if not yourself. I always try to work with the clients directly instead of somebody on their team, because we can nail down the brand a bit, well, just better. We can also make sure that we're resonating quickly instead of, it's almost like a third party. So if we work with your assistant, we may not get the same sort of feedback that you would give us, so we can land the plane, so we can really be successful with the campaign. So that's one thing that I recommend. So even, or, you know, make sure that you're involved in the beginning, even if you think you don't know anything about social media. That should not deter you from having those brand conversations, talking about why you do what you do, talking about the goals that you want to achieve. That should not deter you from any of that conversation, because that is the crux of why you're doing everything anyway, right? Is to really appeal to all of those audience members. So that's something that's really important. So and also too, I would give a little tip about if you're interviewing a provider, if you're looking for somebody that's going to help curate all of your social media, ask like the basic, good, common questions. How long have you been there? What do you see as a relationship between SEO and social media? Just ask open-ended questions, and you can find by their responses and how quickly they respond if they say what they say. Well, it was one of the things that I started to do when I came here to New Zealand. One of my first jobs was being a digital recruiter. And so I would just ask open-ended questions, and based on their performance and their quick way to answer, I would know if they were a stud or a dud. Like, you would just know, like, this person's just talking their way into it and making it seem like they know about the role, but In reality, if we place them, they wouldn't know where to start. They'd be in the bathroom Googling how to do stuff. So let's just not, and let's just go ahead and go with the people that fully understand what they're doing. So that's one of the things. Now, I have a lot more social media tips that I think you should check out. It's on the blog. It's in the show notes. So make sure that you read the full entire blog. And also too, right now I'm running this thing where if you click to book with me, you will get a free strategy session or consulting session, whatever you want to make it. We can actually determine on the call. And I would love to help you with your next steps in social media, whatever it is. I'd love to support you. So that information is below on the blog. Just click the link to go to the blog and you can book there. And I would love to have a chat with you and see what you're up to. So if you have any questions about it, you can leave it in the comments. If you see this in social media or you want to DM me, you can do that there. So very good. So glad to see you here. And thanks for watching and listening to our podcast. And we will see you on the next one. Like many small business owners, doing all the things to run a successful business, like keeping the lights on and introducing new clients to your business, can be overwhelming, let alone the planning, learning, and executing your social media. Introducing Social COLLAB. Social COLLAB is designed to make the process of social media easy. If you have a small team or even if you're on your own, we have designed Social COLLAB just for you. We have modeled Social COLLAB after solo business owners and that we've worked with internationally, and produces content that you're proud of and also has meaningful engagement. Your next step is to click below on our Calendly link and book a discovery call today. Mention this podcast for a special limited time offer.